Good morning, everybody. It's Nikki in the Lead Her Rising. Really great to have you here this morning. And today, what I'd really love to share with you are the 5 hurdles we encounter when we're navigating changes in life. So it might be at the moment you're considering, I need to make a change, but you're not sure how or where to start. It could be that you're in the middle of change and finding yourself in that complete messy middle and wondering why you started and if it's worthwhile keeping going and should you keep going, filled with self-doubt. And these are all common hurdles. So what I want to do today is share with you the 5 things that we all need to overcome when we're navigating a life change. So life changes can look very different for all of us. Life changes could be, actually I need to make a change with my health. Or actually I need to make a change with my career. Or actually I've decided I really need to make a change within my relationship. So I don't know if any of you have been there where you've suddenly realized something's not quite right. I don't think I can continue down this pathway and I need to make a change. And so if you're in that place, welcome, you're in the right place, and I'm going to guide you through 5 hurdles that you need to overcome. And before I start, this information is brought to me by a beautiful podcast host by the name of Jen DeSazy, Alignment with Jen. So if you want to listen to more of her work, then tune in there. And also, before I forget, just to let you all, I do have my book launch coming up in 2 weeks time. So I will post it in the chat. If you're interested in knowing more about the book, I can't wait to share it with you. I'd really love to see you all at the launch. It's just going to be half an hour or so on Zoom together. And so I'm really looking forward to that. But let's get started. So here are the typical ways or the typical pathway when we're making change. The first thing that happens is we get what's called the spark. And that spark is an idea. The idea that perhaps this isn't working anymore. Perhaps I need to make a change. Perhaps I need to step into a different version of myself. Perhaps I need to change my health, my relationship, my career, do something about my finances. And we have the spark. So the idea that comes to mind. Now, how is this a hurdle? This is a hurdle because when you first have that spark or idea, it can be very easily squashed by other people's opinions. You go and tell someone and they say, oh no, that's a silly idea. Why would you do that? And suddenly it's like, boom, that spark is gone. So in this early phase of the spark or the idea, it's important to recognize that it's like a young plant. It needs to be nurtured. And if it's something that's really close to your heart, be mindful of whose opinions you're seeking, because you want someone's opinion that's valid and experienced in the area that you're about to navigate. So be aware that the hurdle is other people's ideas can squash you very easily in this stage. The other hurdle is we sometimes get stuck in the how. Like, I have this idea, I don't know how to do that. Oh, I don't even think I can get started. So if you're in that early phase, the idea is to listen to your own intuition, listen to your own self, your own passion, your own drive, and don't worry about other people's opinions too much at this point in time. And don't get stuck in the how. Start making forward steps even though you don't know all of the details or all of the how just now. That's okay. So that's the first hurdle, is the idea or the spark. The trip up is, how am I going to do this and what's everybody going to think? The next hurdle. So once you get rolling, the next hurdle, and Jen calls it the calling. Now what happens here in this stage is you've gone from having an idea that you need to make a change to a decision. I actually need to make a change. This has to change. I have to step into something new. And that's when it becomes more concrete within you. It becomes more of a drive. So this is a great place to be. And in this place, what we normally do is step forward with action. It's like, okay, I'm going to take some action steps. And here's the hurdle at this stage. Your action steps are probably going to be a bit messy. I shared with you a couple of weeks ago about teaching my young niece how to ride a bike, and her action was pretty messy. She steered left, she steered right, she stacked it, she crashed into a tree. There's lots of mistakes that happen in this stage of early action. And what we need to remember is messy action is actually very normal here. So we have to trust ourselves in this messy middle component. And Jen in her podcast shares a story, and this is a very well-known story about Thomas Edison when he was making the light bulb for the first time. He was in that messy action step, that calling, that decision, I know I can do this. And I think he attempted, and I'm going to get the number wrong, but something like 1,000 attempts to get it right. And at the end of all of that, when he finally made the light bulb, he and people talked about all of his failed attempts. He just said, look, I've just learned there are 998 ways of not making a light bulb. And so understanding and trusting, you're going to make mistakes, your action's going to be messy, and trusting yourself that failing at this point does not mean you're not going in the right direction. It's just that you're learning the right path. So we've got the idea, we can get stuck in the how and listen to other people's opinions. We've got the calling, which is a decision to make a change. And then we realize, oh, the action's probably not so pretty. I'll probably stack it a few times. That's okay. I trust that. Then we have, and this is a hard part, this is a hard hurdle. We have what's called the clearing. And the clearing or the clear out, that is when suddenly things change in your environment. You suddenly realize habits no longer serve you. You suddenly find people that were in your life suddenly are not in your life. It's like the complete clear out to give yourself permission to grow into someone new. Now the clear out's hard because suddenly the old version of ourselves is starting to disintegrate, and we're starting to question, hang on a minute, I thought these people, these relationships, these habits, these environments were going to be with me forever. And here's the reality, nothing is with us forever. And if we're ever going to make a change, we do need to make sure that we clear. And the example I love to give, and I give this on my retreats, is if you imagine going shopping, you've bought yourself a whole stack of new clothes, you've come home with show bags, it's exciting, and you open up your wardrobe and there's no room. And there's no room because you've got a top in there that's 15 years old. You've got a jacket that doesn't fit you anymore. You've got another skirt that you'd love to wear, but it doesn't really feel right. And every time you put it on, you think, no, it's not right. I'll take it off, but I'll put it back in the wardrobe just in case. So part of the clearing is learning to say, do you know what? There are things in this wardrobe that no longer belong. Things that don't fit. Things I've held on to for 15 years, but I'm not sure why. Things that I think I'd like to be, or have, and it's really not fitting. It doesn't fit me. It doesn't suit me. It's not my style. So part of the clearing is learning to say, I can let that go. I can trust and let that go because that allows room for a new version of myself to step in. And whether that new version of yourself is a new relationship or a different type of relationship or a change in your relationship, whether it's a change in your health, whether it's a change in your career or your finances, whatever it is for you, there are certain things that we need to clear out in order to make room for the new version of ourselves. So we've got starting with an idea, the spark that can get squashed very quickly by everybody else's opinion. Then we've got the calling, the decision to make a change and realizing it's actually probably a bit hard, we're going to make lots of mistakes. Then we move forward into the next hurdle, which is the clear out or the clearing, where it's like, oh God, now all of these things are starting to fall away. Is this the right choice? But we know inside ourselves, we can't hang on to things forever. Whether it's habits, whether it's beliefs, whether it's certain people, whether it's certain environments, we do need to eventually move through that to create the room that we need to be able to step in. So that's the first 3 hurdles. Next 2 hurdles. Number 4, after we've got through the clearing, then it becomes what we call the rebuilding. Okay, now I'm going to build the version of me. I've created space. I'm going to give myself permission here. And here is the hurdle. Sometimes it's hard to recognize that we are able and we have permission to receive. Who is really good at giving but finds it hard to receive? I know I've definitely been in that space. Even something like receiving a compliment. It's like, oh, I don't know about that. And so if we don't give ourselves permission to receive, we've cleared out, we've started to rebuild, and guess what? You do have permission to receive a beautiful relationship, a career or a job that's fulfilling, health that you can step into and be vital with your energy. You have permission to receive that. You've set it up. Now give yourself permission and allow yourself to step in and own that. And that is, the hurdle is giving yourself permission. Do I really deserve it? Is it okay for me to live a life of joy and fulfillment? Is it okay to have a loving relationship? Is it okay to have a career that pays me well, where I'm fulfilled? Like, these are the questions that start to happen in this rebuilding phase. So in this building phase, the hurdle is giving yourself permission to receive. And it's a nice thing to consider, where am I not giving myself permission to receive? Whether it's something as simple as a compliment, learning to give yourself permission for that as a practice means that, okay, I'm actually okay to step into a life of joy and fulfillment that I want. So we've got the spark, the idea that can get squashed by others. We've got the calling, the decision that gets kind of stuck in all of the messy action that doesn't necessarily work every time, lots of failures, we need to keep going. Then we have the clearing. Oh, that can be hard. We start to doubt ourselves, but without clearing, we don't make room. And then when we finally make the room, it's like, do I have permission for this? Yeah, you do. You have permission. And that brings us to the final hurdle, is then stabilizing the reality. So just say you've made the change, you've gained your health, you've lost some weight. Part of it now is stabilizing this as a habit, because it's very common for us to achieve something and then go, okay, well, I've ticked the box now. I might sit back on the lounge and have a packet of chips. No. So stabilizing the hurdle here is making sure you maintain momentum, and that only happens with small, consistent steps. I go to the dentist once a year and I don't have problems with my teeth so far, touch wood, because I brush my teeth twice a day. It's a small, consistent step. So small, consistent steps with your health. So if you achieve good health, you don't then go, okay, well, I'm going to stop the action and I'll sit back on the couch. No, if you achieve a beautiful relationship, no, you keep working at that. And part of it is learning in this stage to stabilize this in my reality. I want to be able to continue to make small, consistent steps and congratulate myself along the way. So these are the 5 hurdles to change if you want to change anything in your life. And I've been through lots of changes in my life over the years, and I'm sure all of us have. And we can get stuck in any of those places. We can get stuck in the how and other people's opinion. We can get stuck in making mistakes and thinking we've got it wrong. We can get stuck in the clear out, doubting ourselves and going backwards. We can get stuck in the building, because then it's like, do we really deserve it? And then stuck because we're not maintaining a healthy habit to stabilize this. So these are the 5 things that need to happen consistently in every area of life if you're going to make a change. So I do hope this has been a useful summary. Big shout out to Jen, Alignment with Jen, the podcast, because she's got some great ideas that I love sharing, and I think this has been really valuable for me, but also valuable to be able to teach us and learn that, do you know, we can recognize that we are in a certain stage of change. It's like, oh, I'm in the clearing at the moment, or oh, I'm in the idea, the spark at the moment, or oh, I'm in the rebuild at the moment. Once we recognize where we are, we know what the hurdle is and we can start to overcome it. So I hope this has been super helpful for you guys.